What is up, y'all? It's episode 17 of the Sports Podcast. We had a little bit of breaking news that came in yesterday. We're also going to go through some of our predictions for NFL season, like Player of the Year, stuff like that. But we're going to get to that after the breaking news, which came out yesterday. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already heard about it. But Michael Oher, I think that's how you say his last name, right? The
Yeah.
person who they basically made the blind side over decided to sue his family as of yesterday. I saw his brother on Barstool's do an interview and stuff like that, and he said that he kind of knew it was coming, but it kind of hit everyone else by surprise. They tried to make it seem like ESPN is reaching here a little bit, and he had a lot of love to show for his brother, but he essentially sued them because he said that the family put him in more of a conservatorship. That's a hard one to say. Conservatorship instead of an
It's a
adoption.
lot of
Yeah,
like the Midwest accent doesn't do like
yeah.
those kind of mumbly words well.
Well, his brother on the podcast yesterday was like, because Dave Portnoy couldn't fucking say it, and his brother was like, I've been practicing that for the last 30 minutes before we started this, so whatever. But anyway, it's basically saying that they didn't really adopt him in the best means. If the whole Britney Spears thing that came out this last year is kind of what got everyone eyes on the conservatorship. I know Bam Margera, I found about it a little bit around the same time within this past year about how his family and stuff has that. His have a little bit different reasons because he's addicted to a lot of drugs.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know, I didn't read into his part of the story. The brother made it seem like there was going to be a lot that was coming out with the lawsuit and stuff. He seemed pretty confident that he wasn't going to be in much trouble, but also he was the little brother. He wasn't like a kid at the time. So either he didn't really see much of a threat or he just really didn't care much about his parents getting in trouble because he kind of was just like, oh, it's all coming up. I got nothing to worry about. So yeah, you didn't see the interview, but you read a little bit about it, right, Stolze?
Yeah, that's kind of what I got out of it too. Because like for whatever reason, the kids got paid too. Like the kids both got, or however many kids they have. Say they have two kids.
Mm-hmm.
Both of their kids got $225,000 plus 2.5% of the film's defined net proceeds.
Mm-hmm.
So like that kid doesn't care.
Well,
Like he's getting money no matter what. Like it's not like the money's going to come out of his parents' pockets if anything, I would assume.
Well, see, this is different than that because that's talking about what they did for the movie. He's not suing the movie; he's suing his parents now.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't care.
the
Like
lawsuits for the movie have already been over. One thing that you can kind of get in the picture from the interview that they had with his brother wished him the best the whole time. He's like it is a little bit disappointing that he took these actions against the family or whatever, but he's like, I wish him the best of luck and I hope he gets everything that he deserves in in a positive way, not like fuck him, hope he dies type of way, but he hopes he gets his money from the lawsuit that he actually deserves. Because I think the dude was kind of under the impression that there wasn't much that he deserved from his actually family. Kind of felt like the family really helped him out through a fucking terrible situation, helped him get where he's at today, and it might be a little bit ungrateful if you see it that way at home, but yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, they sued the movie quite a few times, and the brother made it seem like he hasn't even watched the movie before. They just hated it off rip. So yeah, I don't really know where to go from here. We're going to see a lot more in the coming days about what happens from the lawsuits, but the
I
the
guess like because like in the movie he wasn't playing football until Sandra Bullock
mhm,
showed up and like met him, right? And then they were like, "Holy shit, this guy, you should play football."
right, yeah,
So like, couldn't their argument back be like, you wouldn't even have the millions of dollars that you had if we didn't,
right.
intervene and like show you a different way of life?
Yeah, right, exactly. I think the whole thing is he figured out what a conservatorship was over what an adoption
Yeah,
was, and
like
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, they
Oh,
actually
that's
put me in
me.
that. So that's some blurred lines where it's easily they were just using me to do this, and he
Yeah,
wasn't playing football before, so that kind of backs the point. Like, oh, they see this big black kid, and they're like, oh, we can exploit him in the South because SEC football will pick him up in no
right.
time. Um, yeah, man, I just had something that I was thinking about to that point from the podcast, which
He kind of came out shitty about like to your point about him like just figuring out what that definition is and being like, hey, I think that like loosely applies to me, is like he just shows up. He's like, I want $15 million, and if you guys don't give it to me, I'm bringing out my side of the story. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, did you just figure out what this is and now you think you got that kind of leverage?
Yeah,
Like,
and
relax.
the brother was talking about that too. He's like, it kind of makes sense now, but he's like, I was talking to him, like I visited him in the past year in his house in Nashville, and in the past couple months he just hasn't really been in contact, and now we get hit with this, so it makes it seem like they're not really in contact, and this all kind of came after he figured something out and was like, oh, I can get more money. So, I mean, if he truly does feel that way, that like he was fucked over by this family, then like, I guess I see the point in it, but he wouldn't be anywhere close to this situation without that family. So,
Okay, so like if he didn't get his even split of the movie, I get the gripe.
yeah.
I get it. You know like yeah, no problem. Like if $15 million is your gripe, that's your gripe. But at the same time, like
Well,
you sold the story too, right? Like they used your name, image, and
No.
likeness. Like you would have had to make money.
No, well, he did make money, but apparently the family was the ones who really pushed the making of that movie a little bit more. I think that they made it seem like the movie company want to make it, but they decided to profit off of it. And I guess Michael felt like he was the one who should profit off of it more than them, and they probably profited
See, that's
more.
I feel like he's at fault for his lack of foresight. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, he was
if you're gonna be,
he was a dumb kid raised in the hood that
I
got
get that.
adopted by a white family, and then went through
He
a
was
lot
a
of serious
millionaire
medical-
when this movie dropped, though.
Yeah,
Like he was already like in the league.
I think
and,
he was
like,
a Super Bowl
making
champion at that point.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the dude's made money
Yeah.
outside of this movie. So like for one, it's not like might just be a greed thing. Like who knows? Maybe he's running out of money.
It might be.
You know what I mean?
That's what I was about ready to say. It might be a thing where he's just, one of those guys who wasn't able to manage his money well and lost all of his stuff. So in that case, the conservatorship probably didn't benefit him that well if he generally is, because they didn't teach him how to really save his money. Or maybe because, they only had him like technically adopted for 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, he was like already in high school.
Yeah, maybe he just as soon as he got done with that, he kind of was like, "Fuck you guys, thanks for giving me football. Now I'm just gonna do my own thing." But the family was already wealthy, so I don't see necessarily what the point is. And people are talking about him being like this all-star recruit and stuff like that. The brother said, he's like, honestly, if we had the foresight to see that coming, he said, props to us. He said, Coach fucking K would be picking me up to be recruiting for him for basketball and stuff like that if that was the case. He's like, so if you truly think that's what we did and we're that malicious, like, cool. I take that as a compliment almost.
Yeah, we're great scouts.
Right. Yeah, and he is a football scout too. He's somewhere in Texas.
Okay, that's a little suspect. That's a little suspect.
Well, they're a football family.
Yeah.
His dad played for
I
Ole
know.
Miss, and he was I think he was a basketball player somewhere at Massachusetts or something like that. University of Massachusetts, UMass maybe. But yeah, there was football in the family, and he's doing his own thing. He works for a college assistant coach or something right now. So he's doing his thing.
Okay, so this is exactly what he's going for. He, in his court petition, or asked for the judge to terminate the conservatorship granted to the Tuohys in August 2004, and also a full accounting of the money and toys earned using Oher's name, and to have the couple pay him his fair share of profits, as well as unspecified compensatory and punitive damages.
Okay.
So he's going for like,
He's going for a throat, going for a neck.
yeah,
Yeah,
and like
well-
kind of going petty about it.
But the brother did say that everything that they had done with it was well documented. This was a family that came from wealth before they even found him.
Oh yeah, they had people around them.
And if they are fucking pocketing money, you're not going to be able to figure that shit out. That's my opinion on it. So
it's not the first time a dude's pocketed money, probably.
yeah, but the brother seemed a little bit indifferent to him. Seemed like he didn't really care as much as the media was making it out to be. They also had a couple things to say about ESPN. They were talking about how ESPN's probably just like grasping at straws here, trying to get a story. But at the same
right.
time, Barstool's kind of said at the beginning of it, before they even had him on, that, you know, they already have a connection with him. So they were going to get dragged through the mud for being like this right conservative. And the brother said, he's like, I actually lean a little bit more to the left. My family kind of gives me shit for that. But because you have me on, it's going to be like, oh, look at them helping out this white conservative family and putting down the black man and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens of it. I really don't have much else to say about the whole.
Oh, he's for sure got an angle. There's definitely an angle there.
Who, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely got an angle.
Yeah, but at the same time, they probably had an angle back in the life day too. So
yeah,
all we can see is how it plays out, and we'll go from there. So maybe we'll cover it again, but it's going to be a little bit before the court cases actually start and stuff like that. So it should start getting juicy. But I think he said the court or the like financial findings and like what they're suing for and stuff should be released a little bit more shortly. So maybe we'll come back to it around then.
Yeah.
You got any closing comments on that one?
No, not really.
Nope. Okay. Well, in that case, let's bring this over here. I'm going to share screen. This one over here. I'm going to go live. All right. So we've got... these are kind of lists. We're not going to go through all of them because some of them I just really haven't, looked at or like really evaluated or anything like that. Like assistant coach of the year, I'm just going to go ahead and give that to
like
fucking Lou Anarumo, fucking because he's
Right.
an assistant coach that I know is just an absolute beast, and yeah, well, we're just going to go with him. So we got AP Most Valuable Player of the Year, Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay Packers.
That's from 2021 because that's Jamar Rookie of the Year. But like it was just like showing the list of.
Oh, I typed in 2022, 2023.
Yeah, you got fat fingers.
My bad.
Got them sausage fingers.
Okay. So last year we had AP Most Valuable Player was Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. Most of all time was Peyton Manning, who has 5. Personally, I'm going to switch it. God, I hate this double click on this mouse. Personally, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I think that the most valuable player, it's going to stick with the quarterback. I think it's going to be Joe Burrow. We've already talked in our season predictions about what we think the Bengals are going to do this year. I think they're going to be really good. I think he's going to step it up a little bit. And I honestly think if Patrick Mahomes performs about as well as he does, I think he needs to have a better season to really be to go for a double-double in that, because he's got Herbert, Hurts, and Burrow right behind him. But I think Burrow's going to end up edging everybody out a little bit. He's coming in the year hopefully healthy. He's got that calf strain, but from what I understand, he's ready to go for week 1. That might be a little bit of an issue against the Browns defense, but I think it's going to be pretty uphill from there. So that's who my pick is.
I'm gonna agree with it. Like, I didn't pick the Bengals obviously to win the Super Bowl in the preseason predictions show, and that was just like my own, like my own reverse jinx hope and whatnot. But when it comes to like the most valuable player, I think last year was written in stone for Josh Allen to win the MVP, and he just couldn't take it. So I think it's Joe's year. And dude, that preseason game, like that Andre Yoshivas kid.
Which one was it? Because I was recording
that number 80.
Dude, yes.
Dog.
Okay, dog.
Yo.
Dog, bro.
Yo.
He was stupid good. Okay.
So hear me out.
So I didn't get
Bengals are going to be able to go empty set 5 wide potentially.
Yeah.
Dog.
It's
God.
It's going to be pretty crazy this year.
Joe might have 4,500 passing yards this year.
I liked him. Brown had a couple good runs, and the receiver from Purdue, I can't remember his name right now.
That's God. I said Chase Brown on accident, but it's Charlie Jones.
Charlie Jones, that's it. Yeah, I think that they're going to be pretty stacked with the wide receivers already returning Higgins and Chase. And I don't think Mixon. I saw someone that he needs like 12,000 yards or something like that in order to get to become the Bengals' leading rusher or something like that. Which I don't know how he's anywhere close to Corey Dillon, but I think it's like 1,200 yards. That commented on this group I'm at, and I commented back on the thing. I was like, bro, there's no way he hits 1,200 yards this
Maybe
year.
all purpose.
Not
like.
I don't even
Like
think so.
I can see, dude. Mixon's really
It
good out of
was
the
all-purpose
backfield.
yards too,
I
but
was gonna say I can see Mixon going 800 and 400.
I think that he's been on decline, and I think if Brown fucking steps up at all, he's going to be able to, be maybe start competing for that one spot by the end of the year. I don't think he'll get it by then, but I think that he's going to consistently or just slowly get more and more snaps to the point where they're almost interchangeable.
Verse Evans
His
had a
run
pretty good
blocking,
run
his
too.
run
Had a
blocking
couple
was
good
not
runs.
his run blocking was not very good in preseason though, so we gotta watch out.
Yeah, that's why the Bengals need to go get Leonard Fournette right now,
Yeah,
just for pass blocking. Like I'm not even kidding, because
they,
the Jets just went out and got Dalvin Cook.
did they get Dalvin Cook?
Yep.
I thought he said that he wasn't.
Zeke went to New England.
I thought he said he wasn't going to the Jets.
Yeah, he
was
just
picking
signed
Miami.
it like yesterday or 2 days ago.
Okay. Well, that team is going to be fucking stupid scary.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Okay. AP Coach of the Year. Last year we had Brian Daboll or DeBall. I always say Daboll because is it Daboll because that's
It's
why Jack
Daboll.
says it. And I saw them say it on a show one time. I think it was like at my parents' house. I was watching some of the preseason stuff or some of the training camp stuff. And they said it differently, but it just is what it is. So AP Coach of the Year, who you got?
I think. What's the guy's name from Detroit? Why can't I think of?
I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, because I think they make the playoffs this year, and I think if they make the playoffs, it's the same kind of turnaround that the Dan Campbell, but it's the same kind of turnaround that the Giants had last year when they went 5-12 to the playoffs.
Yeah,
And I think that's enough to get them. Like if whoever gets the Lions to the playoffs, that's Coach of the Year.
No,
Period.
I really kind of agree with that one because if they can actually get there, especially if they win the playoff game, which a couple of us had in our predictions.
Well, it's a regular season award.
Yeah. Either way, I see when that happens. I think that if they were able to win the playoff game, that kind of it makes them a shoo-in for it. But I think the person who got ripped off from it last year, which is Doug Peterson from the Jags, I think he's the one who's going to take it. I just think he's going to take his team to that next level. They've got a pretty easy.
That was my other pick.
Yeah, they got a pretty easy division that they're going to be able to go, and then if they can win a playoff game, that might set them over. But I think they're going to have a real good year. I was thinking about saying ZT, but I just don't think that he gets any love. And to be quite honest, I do agree with some of the people who say that he isn't necessarily one of the better coaches in the NFL. He's getting us there. Great locker room presence, but a coaching aspect, he could be a little bit better in some aspects. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Next one we got is AP Offensive Player of the Year. I actually read into this. I think, where is it? Quarterbacks won it 20 times, and running backs won it 26 times. And then the receivers have only won it like 5 times or some shit like that. So
usually anymore, the offensive player of the year is offensive MVP, not the quarterback. Like as of recently, it's been MVP goes to quarterbacks.
So let's
offensive
do it.
Player of the year goes to your wide receivers.
Let's do
usually.
it. Let's do it that way. Let's not include quarterbacks in this one.
Yeah.
So just who do you got, or you want me to go?
You can go real quick.
Okay. In that case, I actually think that we're going to have a repeat from this last year. I think Justin Jefferson's going to take it. I was thinking about maybe taking Jamar Chase because a lot of people think he's going to go absolutely off this year, but I just don't see him with T. Higgins and the like you said, 5 fucking spread set. I just don't think he's going to be able to get enough catches. And like props to us for being Bengals fans and stuff like that. Like that's amazing to see. I would like him to see Offensive Player of the Year, but I'd much rather have just an elite receiving core where he doesn't get as many catches. He's going to go down as one of the greats anyway, so... Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm going Justin Jefferson again. I thought maybe McCaffrey too, because running backs usually win it, and he's actually going to be able to play from the beginning this year, so he might get it. But
McCaffrey's not a bad pick. I always like to throw Debo in there as well. Debo Samuel.
I thought about him too.
But offensive player of the year, I think I agree with you, man. Like
He's just dominant right
don't.
now, and
Yeah.
as good as the Vikings are with their receiving core, they have a pretty good receiving core. I just think that he stands out completely, and he is by far the main target. Cousins,
I'll switch it up. I'll go Jalen Waddle.
really?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I mean, why not?
Tua might not be healthy the
I
whole
don't.
season, but I'll throw Jalen in
That's
there.
why that and the fact that he's got to compete with Hill, I don't really see that happening. But
Yeah,
it's
no,
a
but
good throw in there pick.
just to be different and not to pick Jamar.
Gotcha. Okay. Defensive player of the year last year was Nick Bosa for the
For me, this
San
is a
Francisco
no-brainer.
49ers. Are you going to say Myles Garrett?
No,
Oh, I know who you're probably going to say then. I was thinking about saying it, but I can't say it.
it's the other M.
Micah?
It's Micah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah,
I was
Micah's a
like,
dog, bro.
I get it. In my heart of hearts, I can't pick the fucking Stars. Fuck the Cowgirls.
Yeah, and
So
he's been defensive player of the year runner up his first 2 seasons. Like it's his time.
yeah, nah. And
It's his time to win it. Third time's a charm.
I could see that, but I also think that Myles Garrett, who was a contender last year too, I think that it might be his year. I think AFC North has those defense that are pretty well known at this point in time. I think it's going to be a competitive division, so that might give him a little bit of an edge. Not to say that is that the East, or is that the East over the NFC East? That's a pretty competitive division, so that could be tight. That's going to be a close one. I think that might be one of the closer battles that we have. But I'm going to give it to Myles Garrett. Keep it in the division. Know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Next one we have is NFL Rookie of the Year. Now, keep in mind, there's also offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year. So we're going to go to offensive
Quarterbacks
first.
on. Okay, so do like quarterback for rookie of the year, and then offensive and defensive do the same kind of thing.
If you want to do that, I am not picking a quarterback because, well, here's just my rationale behind it. I'm not going to pick a quarterback because I don't think any of the quarterbacks are that good enough this year or playing on good enough teams this year. Will Levis probably won't even see the field. We have Bryce Hall, Stroud, who might be a contender, but, Texans. I don't see it. I could potentially see Richardson being all right with the Colts, but I don't think that he's going to have enough around him. I think that he might be able to just carry enough to a point where he wins it, but I think that we're going to have some outliers in other positions that are going to end up taking it. And the person that I actually am picking is Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Njigba? You Ohio State fan?
I can't fucking say that shit, bro. Whatever it is. Njigba. But the dude is an absolute beast, and I think that Geno and the Seahawks are going to have a pretty good year. I don't think they're going to necessarily be able to make too many waves because I think there's two teams in the NFC that are just above all else. But I think that now that he's got some serious options behind him, I think that he's going to have a pretty good year, and the Seahawks are going to do all right. So that's my pick.
Oh, these are just two different rookie of the years. One's Pepsi, one's Associated Press.
Well,
That's all it is.
one of them's for. Is there two for Player of the Year? Because that was offensive.
One's just overall rookie of the year, and then offensive and defensive.
Yeah, I know. I did offensive and defensive first because the overall rookie of the year is going to be one of those. I looked it up. It looks like most of the time it's the defensive
most
or
of the
offensive.
time, yeah.
So
yeah, but I don't know. I think Bryce Young will be pretty good. I think once
he's my lowest pick out of all the quarterbacks.
Once McCaffrey, that's CJ Stroud for me.
Really?
CJ is, dude, he's slow.
I
was watching him get ran down by defensive linemen. Like Bryce Young didn't look like he was panicking. He was delivering some darts.
The only thing that I don't like about Bryce Young is he's too small and primarily runner, which he might be able to make some moves on the ground, but I just don't see it. I don't think he's as good as people are making him out to be. I think Stroud, because he is a pocket passer and it has the most precision, I think that he has the best chance, but I don't think any of them are going to win Rookie of the Year. I really don't think any of the quarterbacks from this draft, outside of Richardson, are going to make more than fucking a couple years as a starter. I don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, all in all, I think it's Bijan that takes Rookie of the Year. I think you're just going to have so many all-purpose yards from scrimmage it's going to be hard to take it away.
That was my second pick, actually. And I could definitely see that. I just don't know about the Falcons this year. I could realistically see him getting hurt or some shit. And, running backs just they're hard to go with, man, because they had that Zoom meeting. They're just a dying breed, and it's kind of sad to see because they don't
No,
last
that's
in the
why
league very long, and it's just
yeah, because
it's hard.
they use the shit
They
out of
use the
them.
shit out of them. So
That's
yeah,
why.
this is his B's year to do it. So yeah, I feel you. I got a weird reason to believe that he might get hurt like halfway through the season though.
Dude's a beast.
He is a beast. He is a beast. Let's move on to defensive rookie of the year. Who do you got?
I mean, it's hard not to stay outside of the first round with most of these guys.
That's how I was thinking.
And I don't want to be. I wanted like the obvious pick to me is Will Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I think that dude's going to be an absolute problem, but to me, Devin Witherspoon, that dude's good, man. That dude lays some wood from the secondary. He's fast. He's athletic as shit. He jumps out of the stadium. I think he's very good. He was in one of those middle of the road Big Ten schools that got the shit kicked out of him, but he was going up against Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith-Njigba, all Charlie Jones, all these guys that are NFL getting ready to go to the NFL. I think he's going to be really solid, and especially in a Pete Carroll defense. I think he's got good mentors ahead of him too. I think he's going to be in good shape. It just depends on if he starts or not.
I was thinking about taking him because of the cornerbacks and stuff like that. I think that when you're picking a position for this rookie of the year, and keep in mind, I think that they're hard.
Sauce won it last year.
They're kind of hard to analyze. So that's why I was kind of going with the CB. I was also thinking about an edge and maybe a linebacker. I was thinking about Will Anderson too, but I don't think that he's playing on a good enough team. The Texans just suck. They got a lot of draft picks. They have some potential in a couple years, but right now it's just not it. I'm looking at all the defensive players that got drafted in the first round, and the one guy that really stuck up to me was Emmanuel Forbes, who was a CB. He's playing with Washington, though, and that gives me another one that, sometimes your team just isn't able to compete enough to actually put yourself on the map like that. So I really think that we might have a shocker coming out of the third round this year from Alabama, Jordan Battle. The thing that I've heard about him in training camp is that he is reading fucking playbooks offensively and defensively, has leader mentality, and we are really short at the safety position. This shows my bias a little bit because, I know a little bit more about the Bengals, but I think that this dude might end up shocking some people this year.
I think it's starting to look like Jordan Battle was Jesse Bates' replacement, and I think that Dax Hill was Trey Flowers' replacement.
Yep.
That's the way I'm starting to look at it, dude.
From
Jordan Battle looked like a dude on the field. He looked like a real football player.
I was understanding that Nick Scott was getting drafted to be our new number one safety, and it's kind of sounding like from the rumblings that he might not even be the top two. So I don't know. He'll play for sure because they're going to be able to rotate people out, but. Yeah, I think that Battle might be a rookie of the year. I think that he's going to have enough playing time to do it. I think that he's on a good enough defense with a very good defensive coordinator, and he showed a lot of promise. As long as he stays healthy, he might be in contention for that.
Yeah.
All right. That was as far as I was going to go. Comeback player of the year.
If it's not Damar Hamlin,
yeah.
Who else would it be?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now that you said
Damar Hamlin played a snap in the preseason, it doesn't matter.
I was about ready to tell you that I didn't want to do it because I didn't even think of anybody who it could be, and you just pretty much put that one to bed because they're just going to be he died on the field and made it back to life. There's no comeback like coming back to life.
Right. Say he doesn't. Geno was the comeback of the year last year, where it's you kind of a guy that had a career, and then all of a sudden it's where'd he go? I think Russell Wilson's a good candidate for comeback player of the year this year. If they have a good, have a good year,
I think he's checked out.
I do too, but if he has a good year and they make a wild card, I think he could be comeback player of the year. I think Derek Carr could win comeback player of the year. Derek
Carr could be. That Johnson guy from the Colts, if he ends up fucking working his shit out and having an all-star year, he could potentially be a comeback player of the year because it's looking bleak for him right now. Yeah,
I'm trying to think of some other guys that.
Trying to think of injured guys that weren't there.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do too. like a Cheeto Awuzie if he comes back and has like a really good year.
I mean,
But I mean,
outside
I
of
don't know
that,
how often defensive players win that.
outside of that, bro, you're kind of grasping at straws trying to figure out anybody else. Because like Gino won it last year, and like no one even thought that he'd be playing fucking competitive football last year. That's why he won it. He deserved it. Well deserved for sure. But there's just a lot that goes into that.
It would be like if he can't play and Sam Darnold has the play for the year and they make the playoffs. And they're like, holy shit, Sam Darnold.
Potential Awuzie.
I just don't know how often defensive players win that.
No, I don't either. That's probably a long shot, but he was out all last year, and honestly, we'll see what happens, man. He didn't play all of last year with that ACL, and he's just starting to get back into the mix a little bit. So he didn't really recover from that as well as I would make me comfortable. So,
he's itching to get on the field.
I know he is.
They're just keeping him.
Make sure he gets back in the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think he's like 27, 28. I think he's like 27. So he's getting to that age where it's like, I think this is his contract year too. So they're really trying to just make sure he's good.
Is FedEx Ground? No, that's just a different. I don't want to go through any other ones.
Yeah, that's running back.
Well, that's what I thought, but I don't think it is. I think FedEx Ground is the name of the actual company. Yeah, I just think that that's their player of the year.
Oh.
Yeah, even though a running back did win it. But yeah, the running back of the year, it could potentially be Dalvin Cook now that he's on the Jets if he stays healthy.
Well, they got Breece Hall.
That's true.
So I don't even know if he'll be the number one. If
true.
Anything, he's splitting carries. So
he's probably definitely splitting carries, especially with him coming off an injury. Trying to think of someone else. Bijan might be a contender for that one, for sure. If he stays healthy too. Yeah, I can't think of anyone right now. We're starting to just ramble at this point. I should have picked that out. I had all the other ones picked out, but I'm good with any of the rest of the awards, and if you're good, so we can wrap this one up if we need to. All right.
All in all, though, my one real quick Bengals preseason recap. Myles Murphy needs more finesse moves. He's really good on the run, though, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like really good on the run. But we're in a position right now where we don't have to worry about him playing right now. Like, he can develop.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah. It's now, keep in mind, I don't want to comment too much on it because I was watching, the Johnny Manziel thing for the first, couple minutes of it. And then I was asking Jack if he wanted to watch preseason because we were supposed to record, which is actually about ready to go live either tomorrow morning or tonight, a podcast about aliens and stuff like that. And he was texting me. I was like, do you want to wait till after the game? Because he made me seem like he was going to watch it. And then he texted me at like a little bit after halftime and was like, no, I think we should just get this done because I got stuff to do tomorrow. And he was like, I could really care less about preseason. I'm the same. I'm a little bit more pumped up about it because the Bengals football is finally back and the Bengals are good. But
just like checking out the new guys.
Yeah, it's not the best thing in the world. I'm definitely going to watch them this week. I know that now that I don't have any prior commitments. So I'll know a little bit more. It's
one of those like DJ Turner looked pretty good. Jordan Battle, obviously we talked about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshi, we talked about him. He looked fucking great.
I heard
that he's gonna be a dude.
I heard Murphy didn't look all that good, and our defense all around was kind of shit. I mean, we let Green Bay put 31 up on us. So
we didn't play anybody. Nobody played.
I know, but.
Their backups were.
That's also why we shouldn't even talk about preseason. If we're going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter, but then talk about it. Why even talk about it? Yeah. So okay.
That's why I only said rookies because these rookies are still playing against the best people they've ever played against, regardless if they're backups in the NFL or not.
True.
Like those dudes in the NFL go back to college are the best player on that roster right now.
Yeah, I'll try to get into some preseason and check out some of the rookies and stuff like that, and more than just the Bengals this week. Because the thing I do like about preseason is they actually stretch it out for like 4 or 5 days, so you can actually watch football every day of the week. But I digress. I'm done with what I need to say. You good? All right, that's been episode 17 of Your House, Our Rules, the sports podcast. Peace.